So hello everyone, my name is Revalina and today we will discuss about politeness strategy in social context, a comparative study. Alright, so first thing first, let's start with the definition of politeness. According to Brown and Levinson 1987 and Crystal 1997, politeness are linguistic and behavioral practices that which are connected to cultural norms and attempt to maintain harmony and avoid hurting people's feelings. So just imagine the unwritten rule that every culture upholds. Thus, politeness strategies have been deeply rooted in human communication styles and habits. Alright, on this slide, we delve more into positive and negative politeness strategies. So, does politeness and negative mean good and bad? No, that's totally wrong. Here we will discuss about it. So, positive politeness is a direct expression used to make someone feel valued for their actions or desires. It fosters a sense of solidarity and connection. So, it used to value the other's involvement and strengthened the hearer's positive faith. While negative politeness aims to respect the autonomy of others in the form of indirectness to mitigate imposition. Here we jump to the examples. On the first data, both Bahasa Indonesia and English employ positive politeness in a formal tone. In the English data, the message is from lecturer to students, providing clear instructions about report submission and attendance confirmation. The tone used is direct, yet still maintain a camaraderie among students, as it used polite imperatives such as please several times, which reflects cultural influences on politeness. On the other hand, in Bahasa Indonesia data, the message is from students to lecturer, aiming to discuss financial matter in terms of an event. So, although the tone is formal and respectful, but the relationship between the sender and the receiver is the underling and the supervisor in organization setting in order to maintain harmonious relationship. Thus, these data also considered as positive politeness. On the second data comparison shows both Bahasa Indonesia and English employ negative politeness strategies to mitigate imposition towards receiver. The key difference of both data lie on the variety of language used. In English, used formal language, while in Indonesia, used informal language. However, both purpose mitigate imposition. Even in the Bahasa Indonesia, data is shown that it is a peer-to-peer interaction. Another similarity of both data is the emojis used. These highly tied on Indonesian culture, which often use indirectness to mitigate imposition and the use of emoji to show respect. This common practice in Indonesian digital communication. And last but not least, both data shows the positive politeness strategies employed in order to give instruction and encouragement. In the English data, it shows that the message is sent by lecturer to students in order to encourage students to finish assignments. The English data used structured guidance followed with moral support such as good luck. On the other hand, the Indonesian data is more casual and it is aimed to give information to the member of the committee in order to encourage all the members to join the event preparation. Here we jump to the first relevant study, which is politeness strategies in selected academic settings, insights from lecturer-student interactions in Eastern Indonesia conducted by Anugrawati and Syam in 2024. So this study aimed to explore the types and functions of politeness strategies, emphasizing cultural and hierarchical influences. This study used qualitative approach to gather the data from field notes, video recording, and classroom observation, while the data analysis is discourse analysis. The study focuses on 7 lecturers and their students. And here are the findings. The first one is lecturers primarily used positive politeness strategies to build an engaging classroom that encourages students' participation. And students frequently use negative politeness strategies to maintain respect and navigate hierarchical power dynamics. This study also highlights students' ability to apply politeness strategies based on the situation. And last but not least, this study also highlights the cultural influences of Indonesian culture. The second relevant study is about analyzing politeness changes when speaking Indonesian and English, a case study of Indonesian English multilingual, conducted by Hussein and Shaifullah in 2021. So, this study examined the politeness strategies pattern when speaking with Bahasa Indonesia versus speaking with English. The study used a qualitative case study and collected the data through observation, interview, and questionnaires. It involved 10 participants, then 20 Indonesian Sundanese bilinguals, and also 25 Indonesian English multilinguals that were involved in questionnaires. And here are the findings. The first one is the 10 participants tend to apply notice and small talk when speaking English. And the 10 participants also mostly are mixed blood or used to in native environment. While 25 Indonesian Sundanese bilingual influenced by L1 culture, while 80% of 25 Indonesian English multilinguals change their politeness strategy according to L2 culture, such as using first name. And here we jump to the last section, which is conclusion. So, the comparison between English and Bahasa Indonesia in the use of politeness strategies reveals patterns of the use of politeness strategy. In Bahasa Indonesia, people tend to use a high level of politeness even if they apply positive politeness. This phenomenon encourages harmonious relationship within others. This aligns with English data that is highly influenced by Indonesian culture of indirectness. However, in English data also shows that it is also influenced by English culture, as there is no level of politeness in addressing pronoun I or polite address for peers such as Kak in Bahasa Indonesia. In conclusion, politeness strategies are not merely influenced with language use, but deeply rooted in cultural influences, situation, and context, which aligned with the relevant studies examined by Hussein and Shaifullah in 2021 and Anugrawati and Sham in 2024. I think that's all from me, and thank you very much for your nice attention.